So for our next speaker, our next speaker is someone who was brought into U.S. Congress because of the midterm elections. Who was angry during the midterm elections? Who wanted change during the midterm elections? Me too. And so during these midterm elections, we made history by bringing the first two Latina U.S. Congresswomen from Texas. And so our next speaker is someone that I've known, and someone that we know is going to represent us and has represented us so far, who is feisty, right? Just like a good El Pasoan. Someone who is compassionate, but yet firm. Someone who believes in the same values that we do to uplift the immigrant community. And so it's our pleasure to introduce our next speaker, U.S. Congresswoman Veronica Escobar.
Buenos dias! Buenos dias! How are you all this morning? Good morning and welcome to El Paso, Texas, the most beautiful, safe, vibrant community on the safe, secure U.S.-Mexico border. I want to thank you all so much for being here today, for the work that you do, for the way that you take care of and nurture all of our children, and the way that you fight for our values. You know, this is such a dark period in American history. And more we are seeing groups of people with shared values come together in horror and in fear, but also out of hope and out of inspiration to fight for the values that we know are at the heart of America, the heart of this country, the heart of the communities that we live in and represent. You know, in El Paso, those of you who are here for the first time, I want to tell you about this community that has been at the center of so much in the news right now. And unfortunately, we have been at the center of the news, the national news. We've been on the national stage for reasons that have been horrifying to many of us. Here in El Paso, this was the testing ground for the Trump administration's family separation policy. Long before we learned about it as Americans through reporters and through news stories, it was quietly taking shape and being implemented in this beautiful community. We also learned last year on Father's Day weekend that the Trump administration was opening up essentially a prison, a camp for children, for migrant kids coming across our border seeking a better life, seeking exactly everything that we have enjoyed, everything that so many in this country take for granted. We also learned that last summer, at the top of the port of entry that is just blocks from here, CBP agents with assault weapons were standing and preventing asylum seekers from legally seeking asylum here in this country, preventing them from stepping foot on American soil. And we have recently learned that the Trump administration turn back to Mexico policy is going to be implemented here in El Paso as well. And all of this is happening in a community that has a long history of wrapping its arms around migrants and immigrants. And the cruel irony of the fact that this has been the heart of the Trump administration cruelty should not be lost on all of us. It almost feels like it is happening because we have been so welcoming. But here's what El Paso has done in response to such cruelty, in response to those actions and policies that are abhorrent to many of us. El Pasoans have come together to take care of the very immigrants that are coming across our ports of entry. Yes, thank you. We have one of the most beautiful NGOs in the country named Annunciation House. And if you are unaware of Annunciation House, I want you to Google it and I want you to learn all about it. Because Annunciation House to me is the beacon of goodwill, the beacon of charity, and the beacon of who we are as Americans. Every single day on my phone, I get an alert from Ruben Garcia, the executive director of Annunciation House, alerting groups of us as to how many migrants would be released by ICE on each particular day. And the numbers, my friends, are getting bigger. They're getting larger. And as the weather warms up, we know that there will be more and more families fleeing violence, fleeing poverty, fleeing persecution, running away from a homeland where they want to be, but they know they cannot live. And they know that they are running into a country that has told them that they don't want them. But in El Paso, we have responded by saying, welcome. Welcome to our community. Welcome to El Paso. Welcome to America. And we've done it through Annunciation House. El Pasoans, and indeed people from all over the country have come here, have sent their money here. We've opened up our wallets, we've opened up our pantries, we've donated time, we've fed these families, we've given clothing, water, diapers, toys. And we've done it now, my friends, going on 5 years. 5 years. El Paso has been in this battle for our values for many years, but definitely the last 5 years, we have been a shining example of how to treat the most vulnerable, how to treat people who have been made to feel unwelcome by the government of the United States of America. And so as you all come together in a place that rejects the politics of hatred and embraces the politics of compassion, I want you to know the story of El Paso. I want you to know how important it is that you are here, how important your presence is to each one of us. And as you go home to your own communities, take a piece of El Paso with you. Take a piece of our sunshine and our love and our goodwill back home with you. And when you talk to others about the community that has been maligned by the President of the United States, you can say, those are lies. I know the truth about El Paso. I know the truth about the border. And I know that it is a place that represents this country well, a place that is at the very heart of the United States of America. So welcome, thank you for the work you do, and I cannot wait to follow your lead to make sure we treat every child in the way that they merit, and to make sure that the values that we have here, you are taking into the classroom and into the hearts of those kids. Thank you all very much. Thank you.